All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm recording an intro here because there's going to be a few things that won't make sense unless I explain them. So right now I am a week or two ahead on videos. Obviously it's snowing. I wanted it to be like that because, well, if it's 0 degrees outside, I don't want to come outside. I want to have a video queued up for the week in case it's way too cold and I want to work on something. This video that I'm going to show you guys is 2 videos. It's of this 1984 Pontiac Fiero that's electric. We're going to get it running and driving, quote unquote, around the block. I stabbed 2 videos that I had spaced apart. I spaced them apart because, like I said, I wanted to have a couple videos queued up just in case it got cold, but I have a few more in the queue and uploaded and everything like that and scheduled, so I can afford to put 2 of these videos together, give you guys a better and longer video more about this Fiero. So that's right here is the intro. I just wanted to tell you guys that before we get into it. Let's get into the video where it's nice and warm and I actually don't even have a jacket on for half this video. Hello everyone, this is Josh from Riscos Wrenches, and the title is right. I am an electric car guy now. I bought an electric car, but it's probably not the electric car that you guys expected. I didn't buy a Tesla, I didn't buy anything weird, I didn't buy anything, well, gay. I bought something pretty cool. This 1984 or 1985 Pontiac Fiero was converted to an electric car back in the late 90s, early 2000s time frame, and what makes it even cooler is they kept the 5-speed manual in this thing. They hooked up the electric motor right to the gearbox so you can still bang gears even though it's an electric car. This thing obviously has been sitting a long time. I got it for cheap. I've traded it for that blue Honda Nighthawk I bought for $100. I drove about an hour and a half to go get it, and well, now I have this shit box. And in this video, we're gonna be trying our damnedest to at least show you guys around it, show you guys the quirks of this thing, and maybe, just maybe, try to make it move. This thing was never fully finished. However, it apparently did run and drive. I got it from a person who got it from the person who built it. They got it when they were 17, didn't really know what they were doing. It did move under its own power at that point. However, they burned a battery pack out of it. Ugh, sorry, I shaved my mustache and I got a few hairs in my mouth. But they blew a battery out of this thing, took it apart, and then it got tossed beneath a tree. On this side, it does have a blown out window from a tree falling on it. It has a few scratches, a few dings, a few dents, but this thing actually rust-wise is pretty clean. Interior-wise is okay, I've seen worse, and electrical-wise it appears to be all right. However, I haven't hooked up any juice at all to this thing, so I don't know if whenever I hook up a battery pack to it, it immediately might burn down. Don't know, don't care. Let's get into it right here. Well, first things first, let me show you guys what is left of the interior on this thing. It's not the cleanest thing in the world. Obviously, it's been sitting for a while, but I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen way worse. This thing actually is a weirdly optioned car. I think this was an Iron Duke 4-cylinder car. It's a SE. It doesn't have the windows back here. It has the plastic bit, but it does have a sunroof. It did have air conditioning. Most of those parts, sadly, are gone. But, I mean, it says it has 150,000 miles on it. I have a bunch of random electronics sitting in here. The seats are in okay shape. Like I said, that window's been blown out for a while, so it's got some mold on it. But the floors are actually pretty solid on this thing. The subframes still have black paint all over them, so that's good. I will say when I bought this thing, I thought I struck gold for a moment. I saw these modules here, and I went, oh my God, that says EV1 and it's General. The electric was covered up in dirt. I thought, oh my God, General Motors EV1. How the hell did somebody build an electric car with EV1 parts? Because I don't know if you guys know. Those things are super rare, but sadly, it's just General Electric parts. I thought I struck gold for a moment. But this is the interior. Like I said, it needs some work. It needs some love. But, I mean, I've sat in way worse. The Pontiac Firebird's Fiero, where the Pontiac Firebird's interior was way worse when I drove that thing out of a field. It, for some reason, has a Cutlass Supreme badge on it, so that's cool. But this right here is the whole reason I got it. The 5-speed, and this thing is still functional. This right here is the throttle. Pull this. Gives you throttle on the electric motor. And speaking of the electric motor, let's go talk about that. It's right back here. Right back here is the glorious electric motor hooked right up to the 5-speed manual. I was told this came off of an industrial forklift, so this is a high torque 24-volt motor. This right up here is the throttle. As you drag this arm, which sends power down to the motor, across here, it has different resistors on it. Over here's a lot of resistance, so not a lot of power flows down to the motor. Over here, there's a lot less resistance, so more power flows down to the motor. There are a few weird things, like, for instance, the rear brake. Basically everything of the rear brakes is gone. The discs are gone. The calipers are gone. The lines are twisted off there. The front brakes do work. There is no clutch because you got to think about it. An electric motor, As soon as you stop giving it power, it stops spinning. There's no, it's not like a, you know, a normal motor that has to sit there and idle. There is no clutch. This thing should be able to bang gears just fine without it. I might at some point cut the end of a crankshaft off of one of these cars, get a clutch, weld it onto here, and then that way I can still, you know, clutch, you know, do fun. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I can do some fun stuff with that, but that's going to be later on down the line. We got a little plate right down here with some stuff. I haven't even, this is the first time I saw that plate, so I'm gonna look on that recording and see what that thing says. But this right here is where you charge this thing. It's got some hookups, and let me show you guys the charger for this thing, because the charger itself is actually pretty cool. I might have traded the bike just for the charger, if I'm dead honest. The charger of this thing is pretty neat. I have it over here because it's a heavy damn thing and I didn't want to drag it the whole way into my shop, but it is actually a military 1940s tank jump starter that somebody converted to charge DC batteries. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I probably might have traded the bike just for this because it's neat. It needs some work, but I mean, it's cool. It's really cool. Alrighty, let me give you guys a decent rundown about this thing. This thing sadly does not have a title. However, I do have a plan with this. This thing, well, the interior is okay, but some of the parts have been removed, like the climate control header, the radio, things like that have been taken out for other cars. Front window's broken. It's moldy in here. It's mossy. It's gross. But I do have a plan for this. My plan is you can actually still buy these things in decent shape with a rod knocking motor, no motor, a blown up motor, with a title for about $500 to $1,000, and they're in pretty good shape. Actually, right now there's one on Facebook Marketplace as a rolling chassis without a motor but still has a tranny in it, with the wheels, just no body panels, with a clean title for $400. So I'm not really that worried about it not having a title. My main plan is getting this thing running and driving, confirming that electric motor works, the speedometer works, the seats are comfortable, the windows go up and down, the sunroof is okay, the brakes work, all that other stuff works. And then I can find one of these things with a bad motor but a clean title and swap all these parts over to it. However, the gentleman I did get this thing from said that he might be able to get a title for it. However, he listed it without a title just in case. He got this thing, like I said, from a guy when he was 17. It's been many years. However, he still does know sorta the guy's son, so he's going to try to get back in contact with him for me. If I can't get a title, that's all right. I have a plan for it. However, if I can get a title, that'd be cool too. I can use this chassis because, like I said, this chassis is actually super clean. If you look on the back here, it's all still got black paint. It's super clean up here, and it's the same story up front. So if I can save this chassis and, you know, the fact that it's not rusty at all, especially when I live in the salt belt, it would be nice, but I do have a fallback plan if all else fails. Well, now that you guys kind of know the gist about this car, let's get into hooking up power to it and seeing what happens. I did lie a little bit earlier. I did hook up a battery to the chassis battery, which is right over there. That's just for the interior, like radio and climate controls and everything like that, and nothing happened. I'm guessing the starter solenoid or solenoid up there needs some cleaning because it is rusty. But that's the extent of things I've done to this thing. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put you guys back on the the tripod. I know for a fact that I did some research and I figured out which one of these are positive. It's coincidentally the one that's labeled positive. I should have trusted that, but I wanted to make sure without hooking anything up backwards and frying it. I'm going to hook up a jumper pack to it, hook it up right to there, and then I'm going to see if this motor shows any signs of life. This is a 24-volt system, but I think even if it does have a little bit low voltage, it might still show signs of life. And another thing, I kind of want to hook it up low voltage first because, like I said, this thing's been sitting a while. I don't know if a rat's got to a few wires that I can't see. I don't want to hook this thing right up to 24 volts and a shitload of amps and then it immediately catch on fire and burn down. So we're going to try to prevent that by going a little bit slow at first, giving it some juice, seeing if it tries anything, and if it does, cranking up the power on this thing until we're comfortable with where it's at, and then we can hook up some batteries to it in series and parallel. I'm thinking a couple batteries over here, a couple normal 12 volts wired up together to make 24 volt, a couple of them over here, and that should give us at least a little bit of power and a little bit of longevity in that motor. Alrighty, this is kind of a big moment of truth for me. Let's stand this guy up, hook up this guy over here to positive, this guy down here to negative. Let's see, all these cables are not touching anything that should be sparking anything out, so I'm going to plug this thing in now. It is at 2 amp trickle charge. Well, let's plug this thing in and see if anything immediately catches on fire. Okay, we do have power now. I'm gonna give that motor a little bit of gas and see what happens. Is anything happening? So this right here is exactly why I wanted to hook it up to something that's not immediate a kabillion volts, because I kind of figured that this thing would have kind of sketchy wiring. That's okay. I just wanted to see if it would immediately catch on fire, which it didn't, which is good. Kind of sucks that it didn't immediately move. I was hoping it might show some signs of life, but what a horrible sounding Dodge pickup. All right, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this cover off here to get to the battery, the chassis battery at least. We're gonna clean up some grounds and we're gonna hook power up to it, because I wanna see if the gauge cluster comes back, the dome light, things like that. I just wanna see what we got going on inside of the car, because that is a significantly less high output system, and I feel a little bit safer working on it. So let me go grab some tools. This is the second bolt. This is a 9mm. I found a 22 up front. This is a 9mm Luger. Look at that. Oh, there's more of them. There's multiple. There's 3 right here. Dude, apparently the government wanted this guy dead. They might have executed him because he had an electric car. At least doesn't run on water. There we go. Oh, that's metal. I thought that'd be plastic. Good job, Pontiac. Here's the negative. That looks okay-ish. We're gonna hook up the negative to here. Positive. Just gonna hook it up to right there. Let's just see what happens. I'm terrified because I can't tell if it's catching on fire or it's just noises it's making. But I do have something resembling dash lights. For some reason, my fuel gauge isn't working. That must be messed up. My gauge cluster still works okay-ish. Huh. Horn work? It works. Sorta. It did. It's not very happy. Wait, do the pop-ups work? Oh! Oh, they're trying! Please! Please, yes! Yay, pop-up lights, pop-up lights. That's the best part about these cars, is the pop-up headlights. They go down. Oh, that one's hitting the hood. I don't want to. Oh, there's birds. They're fighting. I don't want to mess up the hood. That's another thing. I can't get this damn hood to pop. The frunk on this thing will not pop, which sucks. Ugh, man. I'll pull the e-brake. Oh, there's nothing happening here. It's almost like it has heavier brakes. So that's cool. I mean, we at least got a little bit in here now. Oh, dome light's working. Cool. Wipers definitely don't. Yeah, they're completely off of their thing. I heard one click from that. But panel lights. Do we got anything for panel lights? We do have panel lights. That's cool. I don't know if you guys can tell. Got a little bit of panel lights there. Well, this is another big thing is, I cannot get this stupid, like I said, I cannot get this frunk to open. I've fought at least a couple hours with this thing trying to get it open before, and I cannot. So this might keep fighting me for a little bit. I'll cut back whenever I get it open so I can look under there and see what we got under there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I lied. I focused a little bit harder on the motor back here because I did want to see if it would spin. And you guys look right down there, and I hooked this up to it. Look at this. That's a spinning motor. So this thing, if I can get power to where it needs, and I can get it to not burn down, which is a big ask for me, trust me, this should drive. It's pretty cool. Wait, so now, wait, hold on here. I might be thinking this through correctly. If I put this up here to positive, hook that right there, hook up this to power, and then I give it throttle. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So that makes sense. Okay, so now I do know. So we got negative hookups down here. Let me unplug this. Okay, so that was, yeah, off that throttle. I just got power to the motor. Okay, so we got, let me walk you through this right down here. So the wires right here and right here are positive. Those are positive. All these other ones I don't know. But at least this one going down to the motor right here is the negative. And this is the negative on the jumper pack, because the other one's labeled positive. Okay. I'm starting to think with my brain right now. All right, let me gotta tighten you guys on my thing. Okay, so I have a thought here, which is a dangerous thing for me. This sort of makes sense. If I plug this thing in, and then I put it in reverse, I should be able to back this thing up now. Not enough power. It is wanting to, though. Maybe if I up it a little bit. Nope. Not enough power, but that is correct. Huh. Cool. Well, I vaguely understand the circuitry now. But you guys did see it was trying to move. All right. I'm gonna say this out loud. It's gonna turn out to not be, but this theoretically should be one of, if not the easiest parts of this whole thing right here. And that's wiring in the batteries. I got 4 12-volt batteries. I'm gonna wire these in series. I'm gonna wire these in series, and then they're gonna go up to the motor, and that should give it 24 volts with a fair bit of amps, and that should make it drive for at least a little bit and hopefully not fall apart. So cool. All right, so I semi have my doubts if these terminals or these wires are going to be any good. There's a fair bit of oxidation in them, but hey, you never know till you try, and we're going to try. So far nothing's burned down, which is a good sign. Let me grab some of the wires that are inside this thing. All right, doing it this way, like I said, should boost this to 24 volts. So this right here is where it becomes high voltage. So we do get positive to negative. This theoretically should, thought I smelled electrical fire for a minute, I was scared. This theoretically should do something now if I give that throttle some. Moment of truth here. Don't catch on fire, please. Put it in neutral. Is anything happening back there? No, nothing's happening. Okay, that's kind of what I expected. Because like I said, I don't expect these grounds to be amazing immediately, so. What about this ground? Should I run this one over here? Okay, I'm getting nothing. I said I had to talk and say this would be the easy part. Well, I'll go grab my multimeter. Let me finish wiring these guys up. I'll go grab my multimeter and I'll start testing things. Okay, I'm not getting grounded. Okay, this is simple, I believe. Now, theoretically, I should have power where I need it. Okay, I have 25 volts now, down to the motor. Okay. Now is the moment of truth, I guess. Okay, that was it moving. Okay. Okay, I guess diesel. I guess we're gonna put it in reverse and try to back up and see what happens. No shit, it moves. Well, that's cool. It wasn't the happiest thing in the world. I don't know if it was spinning that tire, I couldn't see, but that actually backed up on its own. I'll try to move it forward. Now, let's work on airing up some tires. And actually, let's disconnect this just to make sure it doesn't immediately burn down. But let's work on airing up some tires. That'll make it roll a little bit easier. Maybe the brakes are seized up from sitting for so long. Could be a very big possibility. I got this thing jacked up in the back just out of curiosity. I'll see how well it spins these tires just up in the air. Well, I know you guys couldn't see most of that, but I'm sure you at least saw the silhouette of it moving under its own power. Now that those tires are up, it actually does have enough power to at least move itself around. However, the back two tires are going down basically as fast as I can put air in them. They are not sealing at the bead, so I'm gonna have to tomorrow clean them up because right now I don't want to when it's nice and dark. I don't want to clean it up in the crappy night weather. We're gonna do that tomorrow. We're gonna hopefully get those beads to seat. We're going to clean up the interior a little bit, make it not smell so horrible. Hook up a battery to the chassis so we'll have headlights, taillights, and brake lights and all that fun stuff. Then take it for a ride around the block because why the hell not? A few things I'm going to do probably off camera because you guys already cannot see. There are a few gauges on the insides for volts and amps. Those, the connections have been eaten off by rats. I'm going to rewire them back in so I do have a gauge up front that I can look at my voltmeter and my amp meter off of that. And like I said, you guys won't be able to see it because it's dark. So I'm gonna do that off camera, then we'll pick this up in the morning when we get those tires holding there, get a battery on the chassis of this thing, maybe clean up a few connections here and there because I know that chassis battery, I had to jump it to get it to show anything. So we'll clean up a few connections there, then hopefully take it around the block. So see you then. All right, I lied. Nothing like that happened last night. Shut the cameras off. I got bored. Well, I didn't necessarily get bored. I got tired. I wanted to go inside. Needed to do a little bit of cleaning before the weekend. And, well, I did that. So now that it's morning and I actually have light, I'm going to wire in all these connections. And then I'm actually going to do what I said I was going to do. Wire in the connections so I can see volts, amps, clean up the interior, and hopefully be able to make these tires hold air for more than 2 seconds. So.
I just want to...
Wiring in the gauges because they're junk. Well, the gauges I got are junk, so they're not getting wired in. I guess I'll buy some other ones and wire them up later, but yeah, these gauges are all junk, so yeah, I'm not using those. Alright, well that's junk. Let's put in a side post battery over there and clean up connections and get it bolted in because why not? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna do what you're not supposed to. Well, what you can do in a pinch. I'm gonna use Fix-A-Flat on these things. And yes, I know what you guys are gonna say, oh, that makes it so difficult to change tires, blah, 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 blah. These are 14s. You guys already know how I feel about 14s with the Mustang. Those Mustang tires were hard to find. I had to look around for a long time on Facebook Marketplace to find a good deal on them. I'm just gonna buy some generic Unibolt lugs that are 15s or 16s to make this thing actually have a option for tires because I don't like 14s. So these things are going to get tossed onto there just to hope that I can make this thing hold air for more than like 10 minutes so I can take it around the block for a drive. That's all that it needs to do. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to hold air. And that's what this Fix-A-Flat shit's going to do. You guys get the gist. I'm going to do the same thing down the other side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those tires are holding air better than they ever have. I don't have very, very long, but I can at least actually, I hope, take this thing around the block. Let's go for a little ride. Oh my God. We're moving. Not very fast, but we're moving. First gear change? First gear change in like 15 years? I don't know why this thing feels like it's so undervolted, but I bet it's those resistor plates. I bet are gunked up real bad. Do I have brakes? Oh, brakes are right there. Oops. Put it back in reverse. Oh my God, we're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I've got for throttle right there, but hey, it's doing it. And my speedometer definitely does not work. It steers okay. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it up this hill. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough power to get up this hill. Oh no. All right, might have to reverse. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Wow, this is really fast. How about second? Will that help? No, that makes it worse. Is that really? I wonder if that's third or something. Come on. I need to push it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are inside the car now. I got this thing backed up back into its spot next to the Lincoln Town Car. I've got a tarp over the window, tire holding it up there, so this thing shouldn't have too much more water coming to it. But as of right now, this thing is still having some issues. I don't know if it's under voltage. I don't know if it's under amped. I don't know if the cables that hook all the batteries together are corroded. I don't know if the cables that go down to the motor are corroded. I don't know if the motor's ground is corroded. I don't know what's going on, but it's clearly not getting enough power back there to really make this thing move correctly under its own power. It does move, but as you guys saw, I had to get a buddy to help me push this thing back home, and I really had to fight it to get it back into this parking spot because, well, it's not making enough power to really move unless it's on a dead flat surface. And even then, it struggles. So I've got my work cut out with me. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to try to get some numbers off that motor, figure out the correct amps, voltage, and ohms, and all that stuff. Test all that. Throttle plate, the same deal. I probably should pull that thing out, clean it. I'm sure it's got some corrosion on the plates and everything like that. That's not helping it. And this car, sadly, is probably not going to get put back on the road. when I originally got this thing, I talked to you guys a little bit about the fact that we were thinking maybe we could get a title for this body because it is pretty clean, it is pretty rust-free. However, we have not been, not had any luck getting in contact with the previous owner of this thing to get a title. So, like I said in that original video, I do have a fallback plan, which is finding another one of these cars that has a good interior because I am missing a fair bit of stuff, and the passenger side is all gumped up and seats all tore up from that window being broke out for God knows how long. So, my plan is to find another one of these cars that has a good body, good interior, you know, not a lot of rust, clean title, but however, maybe has a blown motor, blown transmission, something like that. Maybe it was in a front end collision that messed up a little bit of the subframe or something, because this thing does have a good subframe, a good crash bar, it has all that good stuff. This thing's never been hit really bad. I mean, some of the bumpers are tore up a little bit, but this thing would be a great donor car for whatever car I find. So that's probably what's going to end up happening, because like I said, it looks like I'm looking out getting a title for this thing, and honestly, with how cheap these things are, I'm not going to go through the process of going and filling out a bonded title or going to a company that can get me a title. If I can buy a whole car for like $500-600, I'd rather just go do that and save me the hassle of trying to go get a title, or like I said, get a bonded title or something like that. So as of right now, this car probably isn't going to see the light of day again. It's probably going to become a parts car for whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like I said when I originally got this thing, I did want to test this electrical motor to see what is up with it. I wanted to see if that throttle plate was good. I wanted to see if the electrical motor is good. I want to see if that thing immediately caught on fire whenever I hooked up power to it. And thankfully, it didn't do that. And it did show signs of life, even though it wasn't very high torque or high power at all. I've really got to do some research and figure out what volts and what amps and everything this thing's supposed to be. So I've got my work cut out for me before we actually take this thing on a proper drive. But all that will be here on this channel. I might do a little bit off camera, you know, I might pull it in, get, you know, do research, you know, the serial number of the motor, the amps, the ohms, all that stuff off camera. I may test wires off camera, because me sitting there with a voltmeter and going, oh, this is good, oh, this has 0.236, blah, 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 that's probably not going to be very entertaining for you guys. So I might do a few of the things off camera, but anything big like putting batteries back in this thing, taking it for a drive, anything big, going to pick up a body for this thing that I can put all this electric motor and everything into, will be shown here on this channel. And if you guys want to see that, make sure to like, subscribe, click that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload next, and all that good stuff. Without me rambling anymore, this was Josh from Riskers of Wrenches. I hope you guys are having a good day, night, week, whatever it is. I hope you guys are having a great one, and I hope to see you guys in future episodes here on my channel. I do a lot of car stuff here on this channel, whether it be electric, motored, actual stick shift, junk, motorcycles. I've got a bunch of stuff here on my channel. Like I said, fixing up nice cars, making complete and other hunks of junk. I've got it here on my channel, so I hope to see you guys around. But like I said, without me rambling anymore, this was Josh from Riskers of Wrenches. Hope you guys are having a good one. I hope to see you guys later. Peace out and goodbye. Want to be the guy that, you know, filmed random children without their consent. That'd probably put me on a watch list somewhere.
Mr. nicknames his private member Lazarus because he has risen from the dead.